Verge Center for the Arts has a new film screening titled The Invaders that tells the story of young black militants in the late 1960s of Memphis, Tennessee. Here to tell us more about the documentary, along with new exhibits happening at the Verge, are John B. Smith, who is a founding organizer of The Invaders, along with Verge Center for the Arts founding director. We have Liv Moe. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have the both of you on. John, can you tell us who are The Invaders and your connection with them?
The Invaders, we were a group of young activists in Memphis, Tennessee. It was mostly, high school, college students, and we began just working in the neighborhood, trying to improve things and provide, direction for young people, participate in politics and those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing thing to have. And tell us, what is the connection between the Invaders and the Black Power Tarot?
Well, when Pritchard Smith, who was the director and producer of The Invaders, began, he was a friend of Erich Kahn, who's a punk rocker who lives in Berlin. And The Invaders documentary, we didn't have any money, so Erich wanted to be involved in it, so I suggested that he write the soundtrack.
Wow.
And that's really what makes the background of the story, because it's got that Memphis bluesy sound to it.
Well, that's exciting to know about the melding between the two. And John, tell us about the agreement, because there's a tie to it that you worked out with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as an invader.
Yes, well, when Dr. Martin Luther King came to town, he came to town thinking that the local leaders were going to really support him, but they didn't come. So we came in because the condition that the sanitation workers worked under. They were an all-black workforce. The union, the city refused to recognize the union. They made $1.75 an hour. They got no time off, no paid time off. They couldn't use the locker room. Black workers could not drive the trucks or ride in the trucks. So that's why they went on strike, to try and get some of those grievances handled. And Dr. King, when he realized that they were on strike, he wanted to come to town and see what he could do to help the sanitation workers. Well, we were the guys in the streets. And when the riot happened, he wanted to find out what happened. Why did the riot? Because he was nonviolent.
Yeah.
And this was antithetical to what he was doing. So he wanted to meet with us and find out what was the problem, that why the disturbance took place. So he sought us out, and what he did was, when he announced the Poor People's Campaign, he wanted to take 1 million people to Washington, D.C. But when he saw that we had produced the crowd for the march that he did, he changed his mind about that and decided that he wanted us to recruit other Black Power groups to join the Poor People Campaign. And rather than taking people to Washington, D.C., everybody could stay in place in the top 16 cities in America. There were all Black Power groups. And so he wanted us to go to those Black Power groups and recruit them to be a part of the campaign, his Poor People's Campaign. And when he did a demonstration in Washington, D.C., all of us would do demonstrations in our own cities at the same time. That way he would get around the logistics of trying to take 1 million people to Washington, D.C. So that was the agreement we worked out. And it actually was his last meeting with any group, because he was assassinated about 30 minutes after that agreement.
Oh my gosh. Why would you say it's important that young people, I mean, being a part of the Invaders, young Black militants, why is it important that young people today continue to be activists and make sure that their voices are heard?
Well, America is at a crossroads, and young people are the ones, tomorrow is their time. We've lived our time, and they have us as an example of what young people can do, because I was in my early 20s. Most of the young people I worked with were teenagers.
Yeah.
So I see them today as being the transition to our, from our generation being leaders to them being, because this is their world.
Yeah.
This is their time. They need to be the ones who are setting the policies, and they need to get started as young people because they have the votes. The 18-year-old, the 2020 census says they are the largest demographic in the country. So if we can just get young people involved, then the back and forth that's going on now, they will be the ones who make the decision.
Yeah, that's important to know, and I want to make sure, bring you into the conversation, Liv. So we have the Invaders film screening that's happening, and there's also the Black Power Tarot exhibit. Could you tell us more about that?
So the Black Power Tarot exhibition, as Arish was working on the soundtrack for the film, he became aware of how little representation there are of Black people in popular culture, Black iconography. And one of the places that he recognized that was lacking was in tarot cards. So he came up with this idea of putting 26 luminaries on the major arcana. And so the exhibition is all of the cards at maximal scale, so they're giant in the gallery. And we were hoping to have the tarot decks this week. I'm hoping that will still happen. But if anyone wants their own tarot deck, we'll have those at the gallery and the gift shop. And on Free Museum Weekend, which I believe is the first weekend in March, on that Sunday, we're going to be doing some tarot card readings, and we'll have tours of the exhibition so people can go deeper into the show. There's also a really great soundtrack that Arish put together that plays in the exhibition while you tour it, that references the different cards.
Oh
So
my goodness.
it's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like an all-around experience. And when can our viewers catch the screening of The Invaders?
Yeah, so the screening is tomorrow night at 7. It's filled up, but we are taking a waiting list in case anyone doesn't redeem the ticket that they've already reserved tomorrow night. But you can also stream the film, and I think it's really a phenomenal movie, and we're all really excited to have John here. And then the exhibition is open Thursday through Sunday every week. So if someone just wants to come and see the show, they can do that too.
Awesome. Well, Liv and John, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. I'm going to let our viewers know for more on all of these events and more happening at the Verge Center for the Arts, visit vergecontemporary.org.